All right, so, whoa, it is time. I haven't done a video for the last couple days. I think I have. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So it's here. We're here. It's Wednesday. Honestly, it feels like it's Friday or maybe Saturday or so much later in the week than it is. It's not. It's not though. That's how out of it I am this week. In terms of last minute things just kind of cropping up everywhere. So there we go. Anyway, so it's Wednesday, which means it's time for a little bit of what's in progress Wednesday and what's up and all that. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a Radiant Noir. I'm your resident witch and courageous over to Radius Hand and Danaeus Divine, where I create myth, magic, and meaning for your everyday life through art, intuition, and energy work. And fun fact, I now have to splice that video together. Great. For those of you who don't know, I like to make weird faces. Because why not? But I had a timer thing go on, and I pressed the button, and it was like, oh, do you want me to stop this video and acknowledge that you pressed the button? I was like, I mean, not really, but it's like, oh yeah, no, I'll get right on that. Just, right. So, yay for like having a thing that allows me to, you know, make that not a big deal. That needs to be a thing. I would have to like start recordings over again. Just giant pain in the ass. So, on Wednesdays, I like to talk about what's up, what I'm working on, things like that. And while I didn't plan this, I actually do have what I've been working on relatively close at hand. Mostly because it was on my desk, and it's been on my desk for the last like 48 hours. The other stuff is going to get an honorable mention. It's not going to get a picture. It's not going to get a link because this has taken over my life. So, yeah. All right. So here's for those of you who don't know, the whole thing about Work in Progress Wednesday, it is a holdover from the fiber community. And it is, you know, just an opportunity to share what you're working on, what's in progress. Because the reality is it's really, really easy, you know, when you work on something that's going to take hours and hours of your time to not really see any progress on a day-to-day kind of, or even within a day. But when we check in during the week and you've had a couple days, several hours to work on something, it can be a lot easier to see progress. And, you know, like anybody creative, of course, people love to share. A lot of people love to share their creations and, show what you're proud of, show what you're working, so show what you've accomplished. And so it's a nice little way of like kind of forming and supporting community, which is great. And it's always fun to see like what other people are doing and working on. And because I love to see, you know, things, and it's always interesting to see what ideas other people have, because that can in turn inspire me to, you know, formulate my own ideas. It's just nice, right? It's nice. So let's see, what are we? Look, I'm looking at my notes. Really lost because I can't read because it's super hard to focus right now. Yeah. Oh my gosh, where am I? Ha! Okay, so, but first, we like to do a little check-in. So on Mondays, I like to set an intention, let you know what I'm going to work on, and when we make plans, we have to evaluate. You know, we have to check in on them. And waiting until you're done with something or not done with it because you waited too long and it never got done is easily a quick way to kind of fail, because you set an intention and then you don't follow through, right? You don't even think about it. Cue New Year's resolutions. And I think that's one of the reasons that people fail. That, and, you know, while we love to accomplish things and like make things happen, I think a lot of people are just really bad at planning. Like, they don't understand what an effective plan looks like, or how to be effective, or what planning, you know, because there's different ways to do things, you know, work for them. And then there's some basic things of like, if you have something really general, you're probably going to fail at it, right? Because what the hell are you measuring? And if you don't, you know, take into account where you are, it's really hard to get somewhere. And so planning and setting goals like effectively has got a little more steps than I think people give it credit. So that's kind of important. But on that note, I like to do it in a kind of like a minor microcosm sort of way. So on Mondays I set an intention, Wednesdays we check in, and Friday we reflect, review, whatever. So my hands are so dry. It puts the lotion on its skin. Yeah, I don't need to. So I started out, Sunday I was motivated. Monday rolled around. I was like tired to this ridiculous level that I could not comprehend, which just made everything super difficult to do. So I feel like I didn't get a lot done on Monday because I was so tired. And I know I just updated my planner, and I definitely didn't like fill out anything for that day, which is like, oh my God. That kind of tipped me off that I probably didn't do anything. I did do my 6 things. I did do that, but like just barely did I make that, which is no bueno. Don't like that. So, yeah. Now, as far as Tuesday was kind of a bust too. I had a photo shoot that I had the intention of planning. Didn't plan very well. And then the day of, I'm dithering back and forth with my model, like, hey, okay, what do we do? All the little, like, relevant, obvious details that for some reason I was too scatterbrained to put together. So they got hashed out like that day, which is terrible because I don't like last minute things. So there's that. What else we got here? So there was photo shoot, and then came the utter distraction that is a new idea, a new project. Thanks a lot, brain. You know, I don't even know really where this idea came from, other than it's been swimming around in my head in one form or another, so that happened. We'll get to that in a second. But, yeah. So I spent the last 48 hours designing and noodling around and troubleshooting. Not doing a very good job because there's lots of trouble. And I did not have enough ammunition to knock it out of the park. Or even get started. Like, get off the ground. Like, no lift at all to this kite. So yeah. Now, what I'm working on. I was working on the Eileen bag, which is somewhere. I can't reach it. I can't think of where it is right now. I set that down, and I set my mending down. 1, in favor of wearing said pants, and 2, because this other thing came up. So, those got shoved to the side, and guess what I did? Started yet another project. Are you serious? Hence the tape measure. I've been measuring and mathing freaking day. So, I ended up switching gears and away from that. I did get the shrug shot though, which meant I'm able to, as soon as I finish the next piece, go and like take it away. So, this is what we're working with right now. But this was 11 rows. Now it's just 1. Because I realized several boo-boos. Miscounting, continuity in the pattern. I didn't like how it was turning out, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's turning out like that because of this. You need to fix it like this, and then, you know, like this happened with the Severin. There's a point at which you're doing various types of, because it's a raglan top down, right? You're doing armhole shaping, waist shaping, neck shape. Like, you're doing several bits of shaping at the same time, but they're staggered because they have to come together at different times based on different stitch count. It's if you know about designing, it makes sense. And having made the Severn, I will say, like, shout out to Vanessa, because having had to make the Severn now, and understanding that sometimes you will shape several things out at once, but not necessarily in the same row or round or whatever, like, suddenly made that make, like, that made this make sense. And it's a similar-ish construction where I'm starting at the top. I'm gonna do a raglan style sleeve, sort of, because you're here. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, instead of having your typical sleeve where you offset the front and the back seams with an increase, I am spreading the increases out, because they're not added every they don't have to be added every single row. And that's partially because I'm adding so many stitches at a time. I'm adding so many stitches at a time because it's easier. It's easier to just up the pattern by the amount of multiples it needs and put them all in the same row than it would be to, like, add 2 stitches, right? And then have to keep shifting the pattern over. This will be a lot less shifting, and I think it's going to be a lot less of a headache for me to do. So that's what we're going to do that way. Yeah, and that's a design choice. That really is. I mean, you can, hey, if it gets the job done, who the fuck cares, right? Right. I mean, really though. Ow, fudge. Just kick stuff. That's cool. So, yeah. There is the shaping around the back, shaping around both the sleeves, and the front, left front, right front. You know, the other way around. Shaping. Because we're starting from a smaller, and we're going larger. And then we're going to set off the sleeves, and then we're going to work the body, which is going to go boop, boop. Because this is tailored. And of course, I have to make things super difficult. So that has been my last 2 days. Thankfully, I already had a swatch made. This is from my Severn. Look at how nice that swatch is. It's like great. And of course our handy dandy cage. And then, so this is what's been going on. We've had this. Oh, that math is wrong, by the way. This was me trying to map out all of the, trying desperately to map out the increases and when it was supposed to show. Oh, and then here's more. Right, there's more. Oh God, there's even more. But wait, there's more. You didn't think I was done, did you? Jeez. This is the money right here. Money. Because I think these are right. so that's why it's money, y'all. Okay, so as you can see, I've got like 3 different things, right, going on. And then, bunch of little notes to myself. Oh, I spent today, filling out the Ravelry page, which is linked below, by the way. So if you want to follow along oh my fucking God, that is me designing this. This is what happens when I do shit from scratch. Fucking looks like it. And then this page, I'm really digging. It's nice. Because look, this is what my is. Oh, I also took the time to do a bunch of research and tried to figure out what it was I was messing up repeatedly, because math hard. Yeah, math hard. And then doing all the, like, starting to do all the math, right? And then figuring all the measurements I needed. Because there are certain expectations when it comes to the fashion industry and design of garments and textiles. There's certain assumptions about which measurements you're going to use. And you don't use when just constructing a garment randomly. You don't use every single measurement you could possibly measure that has to do with that clothing, right? Like jeans or pants, you're going to have a waist, and you're probably going to have an inseam. You can measure the ankle, and you can measure like the hip, which is about where the waist is, right? That's kind of, and then you're kind of done. Now, if you want those pants tailored or tapered or to be cut a certain way or to fit a specific person, you're gonna do a few more measurements than that, right? Because people aren't uniformly, they're not uniformly spaced. They're not uniformly proportioned. You know, you could have one leg that's a little longer than the other. You could have like really beefy calves. My best friend's got beefy calves, or at least has. And so like that can be like a whole thing about finding things that fit. And the way around that is tailoring, like tailoring and getting things altered. And the reality of that is that, you know, everything is altered, like really. So, and then, coup de grace, look at this. First of all, so much damn math. Second of all, look at my schematic. Oh my goodness, it's so freaking cute. Yeah, my first couple of schematics look like shit. So this is an improvement. And it's gonna have long sleeves. I've decided that already. However, oh, here's the first schematic. Like, what the hell is that? What is that? It's a schematic, though. It doesn't have to be fucking pretty. It just has to be functional. And I knew what the hell it meant, so good enough. Anyway. No, for reals, though. So, let's separate all this. That's been my last couple days. Did I mention that I don't like math? I'm also really bad at it. And I think it's on my Instagram stories. I think it is. So if you watch this, like right now, like soon. By soon, I mean whenever the hell I put it up. Provided it's within the first 24 hours. So, yeah. You'll know. You too shall know how much I hate math. Yeah, I posted some of those things. Some interesting little captions. Like, are you kidding me? I'm getting punished, okay? Like, for real. I want to know whose cornflakes I pissed in. That they're like, let's make art, they said. It won't involve math at all, they said. Bullshit. So much math. And, like, math, science. Like, you know, it's a lot, okay? It really is, and I don't like it. So, there was that. That just consumed my... By the way, this is the third time I have started this, okay? I was strongly considering just winging it, but the stitch count was off, and the design, how it was laid out, was off. And I know a way to fix it. It's gonna be time consuming as fuck. And it's going to require me to, like, pay a lot of attention. Honestly, it's only 4 out of 12 rows that I have to pay attention, like, super attention to, so I guess that's okay. Well, by the way, this is for me. It is an example of the kind of work that I want to do and that I'm moving towards, but this cardigan is pour moi. So I don't have, like, a time limit on it. Also, it's going to serve as a sample. And I don't know that I'm going to release a pattern. Partially because this is not something I'm meaning to be a certain size. Okay. And then grading it up and down. Or make a certain size, make the small size, and then grading it up. That's not what I'm trying to do. And it's kind of important. And the whole grading it up, I think the easiest or the typical way of grading it up, which would be like, okay, you've got to add 100 stitches between here and here, and you've got 50 rows, And so you either add 4 stitches every couple of rows, right? Or you add 2 stitches to every other row, right? And like that, you certainly could do that. But with the stitch pattern requiring a multiple of 8, what's going to happen is it's going to throw off the design. And it's going to actually be extra work to account for that. And do not recommend. And, you know, so I don't know. Like, I don't know. I could do it because if you look at the raglan, okay, right, you've got a front seam and a back seam, and it's not really a seam, but it looks like a seam. And you can add a stitch here on the front, add a stitch on the other side, and the same. So you would be adding stitches to the front of it. You would be adding stitches to the sleeves in 2 places. Okay, and then you would be adding stitches to the back in 2 places. But the sleeves would get 4, right? Well, the problem with that, okay, is that at some point you're done adding the stitches to the front, right? The front's going to get to the size that you need it, and you're going to need to stop adding stitches. So that being said, I don't know that I'm going to release this as a pattern so much as I'm willing to take on XYZ people and make them this sweater personally, with X amount of, you know, time accounted for it, and only, you know, after a deposit and you've sent me your correct measurements. And it'll also be a matter of I will do tutorials on the measurements and where to get them. And if you give me the wrong ones, I don't do refunds, right? You should have given me the right measurements. I don't think that's going to win me any favors or popularity contests, though. But honestly, if you don't give me the information that I need, why do I want chocolate all of a sudden? So weird. I don't like chocolate, by the way. But if you don't give me the right information, you can't expect me to do it right. You can't. And I will meet you part of the way by taking the opportunity to make a video. It's like, from here to here, this is what you need. But like, seriously, you know, seriously. So I don't know that it's worth it. I don't know. It's gonna be a fucking kick-ass sweater, though, let me tell you. And I will be quite fine being the only one who owns one, because I'll be like, well, what, bitches? And once I've made one, you know, losing getting laid aside, I could make another one if anything happens to it. Yes. So, I digress. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm kind of excited about it. I want to get up to the first repeat. So this is an 8 stitch plus 1 pattern, stitch pattern with and it's a 12 row repeat. So I want to get up to the 12th row. The 12th row has 2 repetitions of the like little flower portions on here, and I'm super excited, and I cannot wait. Oh, to get it done, because honestly, once like, I feel like once I get the body of the cardigan done, like, it's not gonna be that long. It's a cropped cardigan, so it's not gonna be terribly long, which is gonna be great. It's gonna take forever because the yarn is small as shit. Like, it's sport weight yarn. It's not the smallest yarn. It could be lace weight. It could be cobweb, which wouldn't make any sense because I don't think the drape would be very good with this. It would be so light and airy, it would be a joke. But I like the fabric made with the 4s and then sport, so, you know, it's nice. But walnuts. So, pictures taken, distractions, let's design all the things. Oh my god, let's kill our brain with math. Because that's cool. That's super awesome. Like, I needed those brain cells. No, I don't. I don't need to do anything or anything. Gravy. Gravy. I'll be really excited when it's done, though. Because, so I've gone with a pattern that's already made. Okay. Did a swatch. Used a terrible yarn, by the way. Because that shit matters. There were a bunch of alterations made to the original. Okay. And it's a similar style where it's a top-down raglan sleeve shrug. This one was in worsted weight, and the worsted that I chose was very stiff and not very fun. And the problem with it is the neckline I wanted and the one that was gonna work right for like, to tailor things, it's a lot of work. It just is. Which is why I don't know that I want to make a pattern, because, or just a pattern, because it means that I'm going to have to make something that's garden variety. I don't really want to do that. It's just going to be too awesome a project to make it blah. Anyway. And, like, I could, let's see. 8, my gauge is 6 stitches. Shut up, computer. The stitch pattern is 8 stitches. So I don't know how that works out, but it'd be about 2.5 inches, I think, difference. Like an inch and a quarter difference between the sizes. And usually sizes range over a span of about 2 inches. So it's 44 to 46 is one size, and then 46 to 48 is the next size. So that would also be a thing. That would make the size ranges a little bigger. Which is not a big deal, right? Because there's not actually standard sizes, by the way, people. That's not a fucking thing. I don't care what the chart says. If there were standard sizes, everybody would be using them, and they don't. And it changes based on age. And, you know, clothing is very, very binary. It is moving to a point where it's not. But, you know, the way bodies work based on development, and the hormone distribution can mean that certain parts are accentuated and certain parts are not on certain people. And so there's typically measurements that are taken on one person that maybe of another gender are not taken. And so, which is kind of why I want to do tailoring, because then I can just skip all that shit, right? I can just make clothes for actual bodies, okay, right? And take the measurements that are necessary for the article of clothing and fuck everything else. I've got feelings about this. Feelings! A lot of people don't realize this, though. And then it makes you feel really shitty about your clothing, because you look at the small, medium, large thing like it matters. It's fucking vanity. Or like, oh god, even worse than that is the number, the arbitrary number, not the measurement. But like, oh, I'm a size 2 or I'm a size 10. That doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. Other than it's way, like, and I know this gets used a lot, but Marilyn Monroe was like a size 10. Okay, that's not skinny. She was friggin' hot though. And, you know, while there's of course people who didn't like her, she was, you know, definitely popular in her day. So, fuck that ridiculous ass number. Anyway, what this is being so much longer than it's supposed to be. Maybe I'm making up for the fact that my last couple of videos have been so. I'm excited. I'm excited about what this means. And let me tell you, tailoring socks way fucking easier. Oh dear God. Why? Because there's just so much less of your body that's involved. There's so many less measurements to deal with. And yeah, so I'm gonna go. I gotta go. But tomorrow is project time. I don't know what we're working on. You might get to see me work on this. I'm not sure. So, toodles!